This is a garage. It's a part of my house used to store vehicles and other junk secured by this giant, heavy wooden door. Thankfully, the door is attached to a motor, so I don't have to lift it manually every time I want to get to my car. Recently, I ran into an issue with my garage where the remote controls are dying and there are no replacements available. This garage door motor was manufactured in the 1990s, and it's by a brand that is now defunct and no longer produces consumer-facing motors. I press the button and I press the button and it only works about half the time. None of the universal remotes work with this garage door motor either because the frequency that it uses is not used by any other brand. For the last couple years, I kept buying replacement remotes whenever I could find them on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist, but the price kept going higher and higher and the availability these days is basically none, so I had to look for another solution. Replacing the motor was one option, but that's super expensive. Thankfully, the internet's favorite junk site came through to me with this little gray box. This is the SCIMagic SMG-8112, and it's a remote receiver replacement that'll plug into my old school motor and allow me to use a modern remote. Unfortunately, there were no installation instructions in the box. The only video I could find on how to install it was in Spanish with AI subtitles. So I'm making this video as an installation and troubleshooting guide to hopefully make it a little easier to install if you're going through the same issue that I am. I'd make sure the motor is unplugged before doing this, by the way. This little black box is the old remote receiver, and it looks like the wiring is pretty straightforward. There's only 3 wires. These 2 wires are also for the wall buttons, and when you press one of those wall buttons, it completes a circuit which tells the motor to start or stop. I imagine the same thing is happening on the inside of this black box. It's just got a couple extra electronics for the wireless part. But other than that, this 3rd wire here is just for power. I'm just going to unscrew this so we can remove it. The first step is to unscrew the old receiver and get it removed. You can see some wiring instructions on the back here. Number 1 and number 2 are for the wall switch, and number 3 is for powering the old receiver. So for some context of how old this thing is, it uses dip switches. Here, I'll pull it apart and show you what it looks like on the inside. Almost looks like some high schooler's first circuit board, honestly. It's pretty crazy. Put that off to the side. And now let's unbox the SMG-8112. Included in the box, the unit itself, little tiny instruction manual. The only things this thing tells you is how to program a remote and how to download the app. Also comes with this little wee tiny screwdriver, which is great because this thing has a little wee tiny screw hole here. And there's what this one looks like on the inside. I printed out the wiring diagram to make it a little bit easier. My motor only has 2 wires for communication. It doesn't have like COM, open, closed. So I think I'm going to be ignoring this left side and focusing just on this right side. That means we need 2 wires to the CH2 and we need 2 for power. These 2 ports on the end are for providing power to this unit. I have a 7 to 32 volt model, which means that I could plug one of these wires directly into the radio power output wire on my motor, which provides 24 volts. The other side would then go to ground, such as the metal motor body. However, I've gone ahead and cannibalized a 24 volt power supply instead, just by cutting off the end here and stripping the wires, just to make it a little bit easier to film the rest of this setup. I'd also advise you against plugging one of these wires into the constant power provided for the wall buttons because that's not really meant to provide constant power and could cause some issues. Make sure everything is screwed in nice and tight and won't accidentally pull itself out. Once your power's in there nice and tight, it's time to choose a channel. And it doesn't matter if you choose CH1 or CH2, they both do the same thing. Each set of 2 screws represents one of these switches and can operate 2 different devices, whether that's a motor and a light, 2 different motors for 2 different doors, whatever. But we only have 2 wires and 1 door, so I'm going to use CH2 because it's a little easier to wire. CH1 has this antenna in the way. It doesn't really matter which wire you have on which side because this doesn't provide any data, no intelligence, no power. All it does is complete the circuit. I used speaker wire for this project because it's the kind of wire I have in abundance around my house, but I don't think the type of wire matters that much. It's only providing brief power and not very much power, as long as the 2 wires are jacketed so that they don't short circuit and touch each other. Right, time to program the remotes. These remotes are super annoying because they have the tiniest screws and they're super fiddly to get back together. Of course, batteries aren't included, so I have to open them all. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, okay. Comes open like that. And the battery goes in. And then slides shut. Yep. Yep, that's working. Cool. Now this is the fiddly part right here. It's got to fit perfectly in so that nothing is pinched. And then this one goes back on. Oh my goodness, so many screws. On the bottom there are 3 buttons: Learn 1, Learn 2, and Reset. Learn 1 and Learn 2 represent Channel 1 and Channel 2, and the Reset button is for the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So in order to pair a remote, we just press and hold. Light starts flashing, and then we tap on our remote, and now we're good. Check it out. Perfect. I'm going to repeat this a couple times. These buttons at the bottom also manually activate a channel if you want to do that. Tapping them quickly turns it on or off. And it's also the way to clear codes. If you press and hold it for more than 10 seconds, it will clear every remote that's paired. These 2 wires are the 2 wires that I connected to CH2 on the receiver. It's the same as wiring a wall button in, and it doesn't really matter which wire goes to which side, since all it does is complete a circuit which tells the motor to activate or deactivate. The most important thing is that these 2 wires don't touch in any way, because if they do, that'll short circuit the motor and cause issues. In the most quintessential AliExpress tech thing ever, it turns out Learn 1 and Learn 2 is backwards. Learn 1 represents Channel 2, and Learn 2 represents Channel 1. So I gotta reset this. Press and hold the button till the lights flash. Okay, that should do it. So I've got to go through the learn process again. Yay. Alright, so troubleshooting time. I'm having an issue with the new receiver where it takes 2 clicks on the remote in order to activate the garage door. It seems to be acting more like a light switch rather than a wall button. It's the equivalent of me walking up to the wall button. The first click on the remote is me pressing in the wall button, and then the second click is me releasing the wall button. So I need to figure out some way to automate that process of releasing the circuit, that second click. We did it. We did it. It took forever to find the solution, but the solution is in the app. The app is called Tuya Smart, and thankfully it is a generic smart home app that has tons of reviews and not something super sketchy. It turns out this thing basically is just a glorified light switch, and in order to get it to turn itself back off, you have to enable a setting called inching. Go to the app, choose the device, go to timers, and choose inching. Set it to 1 second. All this means is that the circuit will automatically close itself after 1 second. Thank goodness, because that took forever to figure out. I'm going to go disconnect it from my Wi-Fi, clean up my cabling, and call it a day because everything is working as expected. If you like this video and you found it helpful, support me directly by shopping at my store, rarediscgolf.com. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. This is super cool. The Tuya Smart app integrates into Android Auto, so now I can control my garage door from my car's stereo. Hi friends, me again, here with an Outtro update. I just want to make it clear that this video is not meant to be an endorsement of this specific product. I don't know anything about its security and I've only tested it for a couple weeks. It has worked, but as with any Wi-Fi device, you should exercise caution before using it on your network. Peace out.